They abandoned me after my husband passed, but I went to the insurance company and removed them all as beneficiaries from the $5 million policy. Hello dear ones. Please subscribe, comment a quick hi, and tell us where you're watching from. Now let's continue this journey together. The hospital smell still clung to my clothes when my phone buzzed. Austin had been gone for 6 hours. 6 hours since I held his hand as he took his last breath. 6 hours since my world shattered into a million pieces. Did he leave anything? My sister Rochelle's voice cut through my grief like a knife through butter. I stared at the phone, confused. What? The life insurance girl. How much was it? My throat tightened. I hadn't even called her to tell her Austin passed. How did she know? Rochelle, I just lost my husband. Can we? 5 million, right? That's what Mama said. When can we expect our share? The audacity knocked the air from my lungs. Austin and I had been married for 12 years. We built everything together. Our home, our dreams, our life. And now, before his body was even cold, my family was circling like vultures. I have to go, I whispered. Wait, Diane. We need to talk about the funeral costs. Mama thinks we should split. I hung up. My hands trembled as I looked around our bedroom. Austin's reading glasses still sat on his nightstand. His cologne bottle, nearly empty because I kept forgetting to buy him a new one. God, I'd never buy him cologne again. The phone buzzed again. Then again. Text after text flooded in. My brother Devin. My mother. My Aunt Sheila. Even my cousin Tamika, who I hadn't spoken to in 3 years. Everyone wanted to know about the money. Nobody asked how I was doing. The funeral home felt cold despite the summer heat outside. I sat in the planning room with Mr. Peterson, the funeral director, choosing a casket for the man I loved more than life itself. This mahogany option is beautiful, Mr. Peterson said gently. Very dignified. I nodded, tears streaming down my face. My phone wouldn't stop ringing. I'd turned off the sound, but I could see it lighting up on the table. 14 missed calls. I'm sorry, I told Mr. Peterson. My family keeps. The door burst open. My mother stormed in, my sister right behind her. Diane, we've been trying to reach you all morning. Mama's voice boomed through the small room. She didn't even glance at the casket samples. We need to discuss the arrangements. I'm handling it, Mama. With whose money? Rochelle crossed her arms. That insurance money belongs to all of us. Austin would have wanted. Don't you dare. My voice came out stronger than I expected. Don't you dare tell me what Austin would have wanted. Mr. Peterson quietly excused himself, sensing the tension. Mama sat down heavily. Baby, we're family. Austin knew that policy would take care of all of us. He told me himself at Christmas that he wanted to make sure we were provided for. My stomach twisted. Austin had never said that. He'd specifically told me that the policy was for us. For me, if anything happened to him, for our future children, for the life we were building. The policy has my name on it, I said quietly. And our siblings' names as secondary beneficiaries only in case something happened to both of us. Exactly. Rochelle pounced. So we're entitled. I'm not dead, Rochelle. The silence that followed was deafening. Attorney Richardson's office smelled like leather and old books. I sat across from him, flanked by my entire family. They'd all shown up for this. The people who couldn't be bothered to visit Austin during his 2-year battle with cancer. Let's begin. Mr. Richardson adjusted his glasses. The last will and testament of Austin Anthony Sullivan. I clutched my purse, Austin's wedding ring on a chain around my neck. He'd lost so much weight at the end that it kept sliding off. To my beloved wife, Diane Marie Sullivan, I leave everything. My entire estate, including our home, all bank accounts, investment portfolios, and the proceeds from my life insurance policy. She is the love of my life, my best friend, and the only person who stood by me until the very end. The room erupted. That's not right. Devin jumped to his feet. He promised us. There must be another will, Mama insisted. Austin wouldn't do this. We're his family. I was his family. The words exploded from me. Where were all of you when he was in chemo? When he couldn't keep food down? When he was scared and in pain. Rochelle's face twisted. We had our own lives, Diane. We couldn't just drop everything. I dropped everything. I left my job to take care of him. I held him when he cried. I cleaned him when he couldn't do it himself. I sat with him through every single treatment while you all were too busy. Mr. Richardson cleared his throat. Mrs. Sullivan, there's more. Your husband left specific instructions. He wrote, if my family causes Diane any grief regarding my estate, she has my full blessing to protect herself and our assets by any means necessary. I looked at those words on the paper, Austin's signature at the bottom, and something inside me shifted. The first brick came through my window at 2 a.m, 3 days after the will reading. I called the police, shaking in my nightgown, glass scattered across the living room floor. The officer who responded was young, sympathetic. Any idea who might have done this, ma'am? I knew. But I couldn't prove it. The next morning I found my car keyed. Someone had scratched "selfish bitch" across the driver's side door. My mailbox had been knocked over. Dead flowers were scattered across my porch. My phone never stopped. Texts, calls, voicemails, all from family. Asterisk, you're tearing this family apart. Asterisk, mama. Asterisk, Austin would be ashamed of you. Asterisk, Rochelle. Asterisk, we know where you live. Asterisk, unknown number. Asterisk, that money should be shared. It's only right. Asterisk, Devon. I sat at my kitchen table, the same table where Austin and I had eaten breakfast every morning for 12 years, and I started making a list. Everyone who'd called about money before asking about me. Everyone who'd missed the hospital visits. Everyone who was suddenly family now that Austin was gone. My phone rang again. Aunt Sheila. Diane, honey, I know you're grieving. Her saccharine voice made my skin crawl. But your cousins really need help with their rent. Just a small loan from the insurance money. 20,000? You'd barely miss it. The insurance hasn't even paid out yet, Aunt Sheila. But when it does, you'll help family, right? That's what good Christian women do. I thought about Austin reading his Bible every morning. Austin volunteering at the food bank every Saturday. Austin giving his cousin Jerome $5,000 when no one else would, only to never be paid back. I have to go, I said. Diane Marie Sullivan, don't you dare. I blocked her number. Then I blocked Rochelle's. Then Devon's. Then 12 other numbers. My phone finally went quiet. But the damage was already done. I found Austin's journal 3 weeks after the funeral. It had slipped behind the nightstand, leather-bound and worn from years of his thoughts. My hands shook as I opened it. I shouldn't read it. This was private. But something made me flip to the last entry, dated 2 days before he died. Asterisk, I'm scared but not of dying. I'm scared for Diane. My family has shown their true colors these past 2 years. Mom asking for money while Dee was sleeping in a hospital chair. Rochelle complaining that Dee wasn't answering her calls fast enough. Never mind that I was in ICU. Devon never visiting once but texting about investing opportunities for when the insurance pays out. Asterisk. Asterisk, they think I don't know. They think I'm too sick to see what's happening. But I see everything. I see Dee's exhaustion. I see her sacrifice. I see her love. Asterisk. Asterisk, I made Dee the sole beneficiary on everything. I had to fight the insurance company because Mom and my siblings were originally secondary beneficiaries. But I removed them all last month. Dee doesn't know yet. I'll tell her when I'm stronger. Asterisk. Asterisk, if she's reading this, it means I didn't get that chance. Baby, listen to me, you owe them nothing. Nothing. That money is yours. Our money. For the life we planned. For the future you still have ahead of you. Asterisk. Asterisk, don't let them guilt you. Don't let them manipulate you. They didn't earn a single dollar of that policy. You earned it by loving me unconditionally. Asterisk. Asterisk, protect yourself, my love. I wish I could protect you myself. Sis. The journal fell from my hands as I sobbed. Great, heaving sobs that came from the depths of my soul. He knew. Austin knew what would happen. And he tried to protect me even from his deathbed. The doorbell rang. I ignored it. It rang again. Then knocking. Then pounding. Diane. Open this door. Mama's voice. I walked to the door but didn't open it. Go away. Your brother needs money for his child support. You're going to let your nephew suffer. Devon hasn't paid child support in 4 years. This isn't about his son. How dare you judge? Austin removed you all from the insurance policy. The words came out cold clear. Months ago. Before he died. You were never going to get anything. The pounding stopped. Then, you lying bitch. You changed it. You manipulated him when he was weak. I pressed my forehead against the door. Believe what you want. But it's done. Leave me alone. This isn't over. But it was. I knew what I had to do. The Sterling Insurance Company occupied the 15th floor of a downtown high-rise. I'd been here once before with Austin when we increased his coverage 5 years ago. Back then we'd been so happy planning for a future that would never come. Mrs. Sullivan, the claims representative, a kind-faced woman named Patricia, greeted me warmly. I'm so sorry for your loss. I have your husband's file here. She slid papers across her desk. The policy is for $5 million, as you know. Processing typically takes 30 to 60 days, but given the clear documentation, we're prepared to expedite. I stared at the beneficiary section. My name. Only my name. When did my husband make the final changes to this policy? Patricia checked her computer. March 15th. About 6 months ago. He came in personally, quite insistent about the modifications. He removed 4 secondary beneficiaries, your mother-in-law, brother-in-law, and 2 sisters-in-law. March 15th. Right after his first hospitalization. When my family started asking about the policy details. Did he say why? Patricia's expression softened. He said, and I quote, "My wife is the only one who deserves this. Everyone else can figure out their own lives." We had him sign multiple documents to ensure there'd be no contest. I felt tears coming again. Thank you. Mrs. Sullivan, I need to inform you that we've received several calls from people claiming to be beneficiaries. Your mother has called twice. Someone named Rochelle called 4 times demanding information. My chest tightened. They have no legal claim. We know. We've told them as much. But legally, I need to inform you they're attempting to contest. Do you have an attorney? Yes. Good. You'll need one. In my 20 years doing this job, I've seen family disputes get ugly over far less money. As I left the building, my phone rang. Unknown number. Hello. You think you're so smart. Rochelle's voice was venomous. We hired a lawyer. We're going to prove Austin wasn't in his right mind when he changed that policy. You manipulated a dying man. My hands gripped the phone. Try it. There are 6 months of medical records proving Austin was completely lucid. There are witnesses, including his doctor and his attorney. You'll lose. Then we'll sue you for wrongful death. Actually laughed. On what grounds? You're a terrible caregiver. You probably killed him yourself for the money. The line went dead. I stood on the sidewalk, people rushing past me, and made a decision. They wanted war? They'd get one. Attorney Richardson's conference room was bigger this time. I'd brought everything. Medical records. Austin's journal. Printed text messages. Voicemails. Photos with timestamps showing my family's absence during the worst moments. This is comprehensive, Mr. Richardson said, reviewing the documents. Your family's attorney contacted me yesterday. They're claiming undue influence. Let them claim it. Austin documented everything. He pulled out a letter. Your husband wrote this to be opened only if someone contested his will or the insurance policy. Did you know about this? I shook my head. He wrote, if my family is reading this, you should be ashamed. My wife begged me to forgive you. She made excuses for your absence. She wanted me to believe you were just busy, just overwhelmed, just anything but selfish. But I'm not a fool. I saw my mother visit exactly 3 times in 2 years, always asking for money. I saw Rochelle come twice. Once to ask for car payment help, once to ask about the insurance. Devon never came at all. Not once. You don't get to swoop in at the end and pretend you cared. You don't get to profit from my death when you couldn't be bothered with my life. Diane earned every penny of that insurance policy by being the only person who loved me unconditionally. Leave her alone. If you don't, I've instructed my attorney to make your harassment publicly known. Every text, every call, every threat, all documented, all ready to be exposed. I wiped my eyes. Even in death, Austin was protecting me. Your family's case is weak, Mr. Richardson continued. But they can make this expensive and time-consuming. I recommend we file a restraining order based on the harassment. The brick through your window, the vandalism, the threatening messages, it's all documented with police reports. Do it, I said. All of it. There's something else you should consider. He hesitated. The insurance policy. Have you thought about what you'll do with it? I'd thought about nothing else for days. I want to set up a foundation in Austin's name. For cancer patients who don't have family support. For people like him who need someone to sit with them during chemo. Mr. Richardson smiled. He'd love that. But first, I continued, my voice hardening, I want my family to know exactly what they lost by being terrible people. I want them to see what that money could have bought them if they'd just been decent human beings. I called a family meeting. One last time. At a restaurant, public and safe. They all came. Mama, Rochelle, Devin, even Aunt Sheila and cousin Tamika. They thought I was ready to negotiate. They were wrong. Thank you for coming, I said as they settled into their chairs, eyes hungry. So you've finally come to your senses, Mama said. Family is family, Diane. We forgive you for this whole mess. I didn't ask for forgiveness. I asked you here to say goodbye. Rochelle's eyes narrowed. What are you talking about? I pulled out copies of everything. Austin's journal. The medical records. The timeline of their visits and calls. The letters he'd written. This is who you are, I said, sliding the papers across the table. This is the truth about what happened during the worst 2 years of my life. Devin picked up the journal pages. His face paled as he read Austin's words about him. Devin called today asking about crypto investment opportunities. I'm on my 4th round of chemo and he's talking about Bitcoin. Didn't ask how I was feeling. Didn't ask about treatment. Just money. I was trying to help you make more money. Devin protested. You were trying to help yourself, I corrected. Read the next part. The part where Austin wrote that he lent you $15,000 for your business 3 years ago and you never paid him back. Rochelle grabbed her section. Her hands shook as she read. Rochelle came today. First time in 7 months. Dee was so happy to see her that she cried. But I wasn't here for Dee. She cornered me in the bedroom and asked if I'd updated my life insurance. Asked if I'd considered what would happen to the family after I was gone. Like I'm already dead. Like Dee isn't even a person with needs of her own. Sis. That's not how it was. Rochelle's voice cracked. Then how was it? I challenged. Tell me. Tell me about all the times you came to help. The meals you cooked. The nights you stayed so I could sleep. The doctor appointments you attended. Silence. Mama snatched the papers. I'm your mother. I raised you. You owe me. I owe you nothing. My voice rose. You visited 3 times in 2 years. 3 times. And every single time you asked Austin for money. The restaurant had gone quiet. Other diners were watching now, but I didn't care. Mama's face flushed. How dare you disrespect me in public? After everything I've done. What have you done? I stood up, all the rage and grief pouring out. Tell me. Tell everyone here what you did for your dying son-in-law. I prayed for him. You prayed from your living room while I held his hand through every treatment. You prayed while I watched him waste away. You prayed while I sacrificed everything. Aunt Sheila tried to intervene. Diane, honey, you're upset. You're not thinking clearly. I'm thinking more clearly than I have in months. I turned to her. You want to talk about family? You didn't even come to the funeral. You sent a text. A text saying, sorry for your loss, call me about the insurance. Tamika at least had the decency to look ashamed. Austin knew, I continued, my voice breaking. He knew exactly what you all were. He protected me from you even though I begged him not to. I made excuses for you. I defended you. I pulled out the final document. The legal restraining order. This is a cease and desist. If any of you contact me again, calls, texts, emails showing up at my house, you'll be arrested for harassment. I have documentation of everything. The threats. The vandalism. The attempts to intimidate me. Devon stood up. You're making a huge mistake. We're your family. No, I said quietly. You're my relatives. Family shows up. Family cares. Family doesn't circle like vultures when someone dies. What about the money? Rochelle's mask finally dropped. You can't keep it all. It's not right. You want to know what I'm doing with the money? I smiled cold and hard. I'm setting up a foundation. The Austin Sullivan Cancer Support Foundation. $5 million to help people whose families abandon them during treatment. Every penny going to people who actually need it. The color drained from their faces. You're giving it away? Mama whispered. All of it. Not all of it. I'm keeping enough to live on, to honor Austin's wish that I be taken care of. The rest? Going to people who deserve it. People like Austin who died surrounded by love instead of greed. I gathered my things. Goodbye. Don't contact me again. As I walked out, I heard Rochelle sobbing. Mama calling after me. Devon cursing. I didn't look back. The foundation launched 4 months after Austin died. I worked with Mr. Richardson and a team of specialists to create something meaningful. The Austin Sullivan Cancer Support Foundation would provide 3 services: financial assistance for treatment costs, paid caregivers for patients without family support, and counseling for both patients and their caregivers. The press release went viral. Local widow honors husband's memory with $4.5 million foundation instead of giving inheritance to family. The article detailed everything. My family's absence. Their demands. Austin's decision to remove them from the policy. The harassment I'd endured. Social media exploded. Thousands of people shared their own stories of family betrayal during illness. Cancer survivors who'd been abandoned. Caregivers who'd lost everything to take care of loved ones while family members disappeared. My phone rang constantly, but this time with different calls. News stations wanting interviews. Other widows and widowers wanting to share their stories. Organizations wanting to partner with the foundation. And angry calls from my family's friends and church members who'd only heard their side. How could you humiliate your mother like this? One woman demanded. She raised you. She abandoned my husband, I replied calmly. There's a difference between giving birth and being a mother. Pastor Jenkins from my family's church called personally. Diane, I'm concerned about your soul. Greed is a sin. Greed is exactly what I'm fighting against, Pastor. Did my family tell you they threatened me? Vandalized my property? Called me at 2 a.m. demanding money? Or did they just tell you I'm keeping their inheritance? He paused. They said you manipulated Austin. Austin removed them from his insurance 6 months before he died. I have his journal, his letters, medical records proving he was of sound mind. Would you like copies? I'm happy to send them to the church newsletter. Another pause. That won't be necessary. That's what I thought. I hung up feeling lighter than I had in months. The foundation's first recipient was a woman named Carol. 53, breast cancer, no family support. Her daughter had moved to another state and stopped answering calls. Her ex-husband remarried and claimed he couldn't help financially. I met Carol at her first chemo session. Held her hand. Sat with her. You don't have to do this, she cried. You don't even know me. Austin would have done this, I told her. And that means I do too. Despite the restraining order, my family tried one final move. They sued for emotional distress and defamation. The case was absurd. Their attorney was clearly grasping at straws, but it meant months of depositions and legal fees. They're desperate, Mr. Richardson explained. They thought you'd settle to avoid the hassle. They don't realize you're done backing down. During my deposition, Rochelle's attorney tried to paint me as cold and calculating. Mrs. Sullivan, isn't it true that you isolated your husband from his family during his illness? No. His family isolated themselves. Would you like to see the hospital visitor logs? Austin was there for 87 days total. I was there for all 87. His mother visited 3 times. His siblings never came once. You prevented them from visiting. I prevented nothing. I begged them to come. I have text messages proving it. Would you like to see them? He shifted tactics. The foundation. Isn't it just a tax shelter? It's a registered 501(c)(3) nonprofit with full transparency. Every dollar is accounted for. We've already helped 23 patients in 4 months. Very convenient. Make yourself look like a hero. I'm not a hero. I'm a widow honoring her husband's memory. Your clients are people who harassed me, threatened me, and tried to profit from my husband's death. Those are facts, not opinions. The attorney for my family looked frustrated. Your Honor, Mrs. Sullivan is clearly hostile. Mrs. Sullivan is clearly telling the truth, the judge interrupted. And frankly, I'm losing patience with this case. Do you have any actual evidence of wrongdoing, or are we wasting the court's time? 3 weeks later, the case was dismissed with prejudice. The judge ordered my family to pay my legal fees, over $60,000. They tried to appeal. It was denied. I received one final call from Mama. He was crying. You've destroyed this family, Diane. Your father would be ashamed. My father had died when I was 12. He'd been a good man, nothing like the family he'd left behind. Daddy would be proud of me, I said softly. He'd be proud that I stood up for myself, that I honored Austin, that I'm helping people. You're helping strangers instead of family. Because strangers are kinder than my family ever was. I hung up for the last time. 1 year after Austin died, the foundation had grown beyond anything I'd imagined. We'd helped over 200 patients, provided thousands of hours of caregiver support, connected people with resources they didn't know existed. The donations poured in from across the country. People who'd lost loved ones to cancer. Survivors who'd been abandoned. Caregivers who understood the exhaustion and isolation. I hired a full staff. Medical social workers. Counselors. A financial team to ensure every dollar was used properly. And I volunteered at the chemo center 3 days a week. Sitting with patients who had no one else. Holding hands. Listening to fears. Being the person I wished Austin had more of besides just me. One afternoon I met a young man named David. 28, colon cancer. Parents who'd disowned him years ago for being gay. I'm alone, he told me, tears streaming down his face. I'm going to die alone. No, you're not, I promised. I'm here. We're here. I sat with David through 6 months of treatment. Drove him to appointments. Helped him navigate insurance nightmares. Was there when he got the news he was in remission. You saved my life, he said at his last treatment. You saved your life. You fought. You survived. I just made sure you didn't have to do it alone. He hugged me tight. Austin was lucky to have you. I was lucky to have him. That night, I visited Austin's grave for the first time in months. I'd been avoiding it, couldn't handle the finality. I did it, I told the headstone. The foundation is real. We're helping people. You'd be so proud of what we've built. The wind rustled through the trees. If I closed my eyes, I could almost feel Austin there. I miss you every single day. But I'm okay now. I'm finally okay. I placed fresh flowers on his grave, sunflowers his favorite, and walked back to my car. My phone buzzed. A text from David. Just got invited to my sister's wedding. First time she's spoken to me in 5 years. She said seeing what you did for me made her realize what family should be. Thank you. I smiled through tears. This was why. This was what Austin wanted. Not revenge, not punishment, just proof that love was stronger than greed. 2 years after Austin died, I sold our house. Too many memories. Too much grief trapped in those walls. I bought something smaller, simpler. A fresh start. The foundation was thriving. We'd expanded to 3 cities, helped over 500 patients, and raised an additional $2 million through grants and donations. I'd written a book about caregiving and grief. The proceeds went to the foundation. It became a bestseller not because of my writing but because so many people saw themselves in the story. I received hundreds of letters. Some from people who'd been abandoned by family during illness. Some from people who'd done the abandoning and wanted to make amends. One letter came from someone unexpected, Rochelle. Dear Diane, I know you won't believe me, but I'm sorry. Not sorry I got caught or that we lost the lawsuit. Sorry for how I treated you. Sorry for how I treated Austin. I've been in therapy, working through why I acted the way I did. Money problems, jealousy, feeling like you got everything I wanted. None of it excuses what I did. My daughter was diagnosed with leukemia 6 months ago. Suddenly I understand what you went through. The fear. The exhaustion. The isolation when people stop calling because they don't know what to say. I'm not asking for money or forgiveness. I just wanted you to know that I finally get it. I understand why you did what you did. I understand why Austin protected you. I hope you're okay. I hope you found peace. Well, I read the letter 3 times. Felt nothing. Then sadness. Then, surprisingly, a touch of compassion. I didn't respond. Some bridges once burned can't be rebuilt. But I didn't hate her anymore. I just felt sorry for her. My phone rang. It was Patricia from the insurance company. Mrs. Sullivan, I wanted you to know, your family's harassment complaint was officially closed. No further appeals possible. You're free and clear. Thank you, Patricia. Can I tell you something off the record? Of course. In 23 years doing this job, I've never seen anyone use an insurance payout the way you did. Most people would have kept it, spent it, lived lavishly. You built something beautiful. Your husband would be incredibly proud. After we hung up, I sat in my new living room and allowed myself to cry. Not sad tears this time. Relieved tears. Healing tears. Austin was gone. My family was gone. The life I'd planned was gone. But I was still here. And I'd built something meaningful from the ashes. The foundation would continue long after I was gone. Helping people like Austin. People like David. People who deserved love and support during the hardest moments of their lives. I pulled out Austin's journal, kept it on my coffee table now. The last page, the one I'd read 100 times. Dee, if you're reading this, I'm gone. I'm sorry I had to leave you. But I'm not sorry for loving you. You gave me the best years of my life. You gave me dignity in death. You gave me everything. Don't let them break you. Don't let anyone make you feel guilty for protecting yourself. You deserve happiness. You deserve peace. You deserve a future. Live for both of us. Love again if you can. But never forget that you were the greatest blessing of my life. Thank you for being my person. I closed the journal and looked out the window. The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of orange and gold. Tomorrow I'd go back to the foundation. I'd sit with another patient who needed someone. I'd answer more letters. I'd continue building Austin's legacy. But tonight I let myself rest. I'd fought the battle. I'd won the war. Not because I kept the money or cut off my family, but because I'd chosen love over bitterness. Purpose over revenge. My phone buzzed one last time. A text from David, 2 years cancer-free today. Taking my boyfriend to dinner. You should see how my family showed up for him when he met them. Your foundation didn't just save my life. It taught my family how to love. Thank you will never be enough. I smiled, genuine and warm. Maybe thank you wasn't enough. But it was everything. If this story touched you, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you're caring for a loved one right now, know that you're not alone. You're seen. You're valued. You matter. Sometimes the family we choose is stronger than the family we're born into. And sometimes, the greatest inheritance we can leave is showing others what true love looks like. Rest in peace to all the Austin Sullivans of the world, and strength to all the Dianes still fighting.